people using this who are not addicts, who just want to get into meditation? Is this a good idea?
That's great. Yeah, it's well in my early formulations of this, I was talking to this really delightful old gentleman who was very blue, kind of fundamentalist Christian sort, and I was teaching him this thing, and he was looking at me. He said, "This is not just for addicts, is it?" So, bingo, of course. So one of the very cool things about integral recovery is that when we are working with a family, and we always, if there's a family to work with, and there usually is, we always include them in this. And so we have the families actually going through these practices and starting their own meditation practice, starting their own exercise practice, and starting their own nutritional support and teaching these things. So it's not just this, just the addict. And I've had parents tell me that, after they've been doing this work for a while, it's like, even if Billy doesn't get well, I'm getting well. So you see what I'm saying? It's good for everyone. So you get the whole family system.
It's kind of raising up the whole level of everybody.
Yeah. So we're and it's like, it's not just for addicts. Like, none of us who are incarnated, who have been born into the world, do not suffer, do not have issues, and do not, that's the first noble truth of Buddhism. Life is suffering. We all have our issues, and this seems to work really well with a whole variety of things, and especially depression and bipolar and ADHD, which are often comorbid parts of addiction. In other words, people don't just come that they just have addiction. They have bipolar, depression, ADHD, other issues that are part of the whole syndrome. So you have to work with all these things, and so this really does help that. So.
And then you're also talking about how this is just an entire lifestyle change. I mean, not just with meditation, but with like changing your diet and your exercise.
Your exercise, right? And of course, you have to. And this, they've known this in traditional recovery for a long time, is that if you want to get well, or you whatever aspect of yourself, if you want to be a great athlete, you generally will hang out with people who have that same value, so you can work out together, support each other. You tend towards that. If you want to get sober or grow spiritually, you have to hang out with people who have that as a value and also want to work on themselves. So you don't, after you've done this work and this initial transformation work, you can't go back to the same old playgrounds and playmates and places you were before. It's just really toxic. You have to have community, a supportive community. And in all the different spiritual, religious traditions, wisdom traditions, you find that there's always community. Whether it's the church or what is the Islamic word? It escapes me right now. Or the sangha in Buddhist terms. You need like-minded people to work with, and that's one of the challenges of the integral recovery thing, is that we have to start building those communities around the world. And in the meantime, you can go to AA meetings and get, AA is a great support group. It's or AA, NA, whatever 12-step group you want. Obviously, most of them are not integral at this point, but you'll find a lot of people that care about you, and or tell you stories, and you can listen and remember how bad it was. And so there's a lot of good support there. You can go. You can find meditation groups. You can go to church if you find a church that feels right. Or there's all kinds of things you can do. But it's very important to find support. And as this, thing evolves, we'll hopefully we can help people go out and start integral practice groups or integral recovery groups, or people that can come and support each other. But because it's kind of lonely at first when you're the only one doing it. But we hope to offer soon coaching and online connections and telephone and stuff to get people really established. So the whole idea of integral recovery is establishing these practices: the meditation, the exercise, the nutrition, the emotional releasing work, the cognitive growth, the spiritual growth, as an ongoing lifetime practice. And we say, I probably said this before, but in integral recovery, the idea is that relapse happens not when you ingest the drug again, but when you stop practicing. Okay? Because if you stop practicing, you start going back into that addictive trance. You start kind of getting conscious again. The stress starts building up, and pretty soon, it's like relapse does not just happen. There's a whole progression of things that starts, and then the idea, well, maybe I'm different now. Maybe this time it'll be different. Just one drink. Hell, I've been sober for 2 years. I should celebrate that. Whatever. And all these, this crazy thinking that emerges, which is the reptilian brainstem trying to use your neocortex to bullshit you into dying again, or relapsing. So if you stay healthy and you keep working on it as an ongoing thing, and pretty soon the results are so extraordinary, you feel so much better. It's like, man, why would I want to go back to sleep? Why would I want to go back to this thing? I'm much happier. My altered states, spiritual experiences now are such more depth and much more real than the chemically induced ones, and there's no negative side effects. I don't have, the ecstasy was so great, and you wake up in the morning, you're deeply depressed and neurochemically depleted, and you feel like crap for days, or you use other drugs to help you get over the crash and anyway, on and on and on and on.